So in this video, I'm basically going to be giving you my full mods list and giving you a breakdown. We're basically going to be doing a walk around the car, and I'll be covering every single aspect of it, of the parts that I've added, parts that I would recommend for this build. I've been getting this question way too many times, so I decided just to make a video about it and kind of give you guys a more in-depth overall idea of exactly what I've got done to this car. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, you may have known that this car recently had a Golf R size IS38 turbo. Now we're switching it, we're moving over to the hybrid. So the build is changing just a little bit. So I decided now is a good time to kind of talk about what the build was running prior, before the turbo swap and everything like that, and give you full details about that. So let's go ahead and jump right into this, right? First things first, on the exterior, again, we're doing like a walk around, right? Lightweight wheels. One of the big things that a lot of people don't really understand is that with lightweight wheels, you're basically able to accelerate quicker, brake quicker, and you know that rotating mass, if you don't already know, if you're new to cars, it is very, very crucial. When I swapped these wheels from the OEM VW Pretoria over to these Koenigs, I definitely felt a noticeable difference, especially leaving like red lights. The car just kind of picks up just a little bit quicker. So lightweight wheels is definitely something that will help out your build. Another thing is you're gonna need sticky tires to go with that. If you want to push 400 horsepower, you will need something to be able to put all that power down. For me, I went with the Falcon Azenis. These are RT 660s. These are 200 tread wear tires, and they work pretty good. We will see how good they do with the hybrid turbo, but for this setup, they were pretty good, honestly. Didn't really have too many issues with them. Yes, you'll still spin in like lower gears, but it does a lot better than what I'm running in the rear, which is Michelin PS4S. So these tires are really good. They were definitely a step up from the Indy 500s that I've had, but once I went with IS38 and everything like that, they were no longer adequate. So definitely something to note there. But they run quiet, they're very good for daily driving, and they still handle very, very well. You'll just spin a little bit more compared to the 200 tread wear that's up front there. Moving over to the back section, guys, a lot of misconception here. Those of you who have Mark 7s and some of you have Mark 7.5s, I have been running the factory stock exhaust the entire time. I've never switched exhaust on this car. This is a big misconception. Some people feel like you need that full 3-inch to be able to maximize gains and stuff like that. Now, while that is true, it's very minimal, and I guess you can get it for like sound, right? I've been running this exhaust and I've been able to put down the power just fine. So some of the key differences from my understanding is that with the larger diameter exhaust at 3-inch, you're basically going to lose a little bit more low end. So when you're driving around town and stuff like that, but on the top end and whatnot, it'll flow a lot better, especially when you pair it with like an aftermarket downpipe. With me though, I was able to basically still keep that like lower end, and it still sounds pretty nice, right? I mean, this is a 7.5 GTI, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, if you have a 7.5, I would recommend just keeping it stock, in my opinion, if you don't want to be too over dramatically loud. But yeah, I love this thing. The factory exhausts on there are not as restrictive as you think. They just sound very, very tame. I kind of like that I don't get extra attention, right, from running a larger exhaust. Cool, so we covered the wheels, tires, and exhaust. Let's go ahead and walk around here and see what else I'm missing. Oh yeah, front of the car. So I've got a factory location intercooler on this. Now in my previous build, I was running a front mount intercooler. I would recommend the front mount just because it's a lot easier to install. It's a lot quicker, right? You basically need to drill into the crash bar. Let me show you. You basically need to drill into the crash bar, but it's a lot easier than taking off the entire like frame assembly here with the radiator support and stuff like that. So it's a lot quicker to do that. And front mount intercoolers, I would say they're good for about like 450 wheel horsepower. After that, it starts to bottleneck a little bit. So, but yeah, it is definitely something you would need on these cars if you want to make higher horsepower, well over stock. Things can get very hot with the turbo, so you definitely need that cooling aspect there. Let me open up. All right, I know this is what you guys been waiting for. Engine bay mods. Now, this is pretty much like the meat and potatoes of this video. So what I ran when I had my IS38 Plus to make 400 horsepower, the main things you're going to need is a Catless downpipe. Hang on, let's shed some light on this. So Catless Downpipe, guys, this is like basically the best mod that you're gonna get for your GTI because you can now run stage 2 tunes with this. Catless or catted, they'll give you similar effects and stuff like that. Yeah, so you'll definitely will need a larger diameter piping because the stock one is super restrictive on these cars. Like we mentioned, we talked about like the exhaust in the rear there. Not as restrictive as you think, but the downpipe is the most restrictive part on these cars, in my personal opinion. This one is actually a 3.5 inch. Let's see here. You will also need a turbo upgrade if you want to hit 400 wheel horsepower. I ran an IS38 Plus spec turbo. It's basically just a Golf R size turbo. Same exact specs, same 6-fin blade design and stuff like that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, you will definitely need a turbo inlet pipe. You can't really see it here. Hang on. You can't really see it, but it's there. I'm running the MST brand, but honestly, any turbo inlet pipe will give you very, very similar effects. I've ran the CTS one before in 034. Those are still pretty good and very good bang for buck turbo inlet pipes. You'll also need a silicone hose. Again, you can run the stock recording one, but number one, it basically baffles the sound and you don't get as much flow versus this thicker silicone hose here. So I would recommend running a silicone hose along with the turbo inlet pipe, along with the IS38 turbo, along with the downpipe, so you can kind of see the flow here, what's going on, right? Those are like the main essential mods you'll need if you want to hit 400 plus horsepower. Now the intake, this is pretty subjective here. Some people will say yes, you need the intake, it'll make worlds of a difference. Other people will say no, you're wasting your money. In my personal opinion, guys, you do not need to get an aftermarket intake. I did it because I wanted more sound. I felt like it was missing that, like some induction noises. So I'm basically running this MST style intake here. You've got the cone filter head, and you can run this as open or closed. Right now I have it running as open. So basically you can get that swooshy sound, right, that we all know and love. So I've got that, but it also comes with like a lid where you can just kind of like tap it off, and you've got like the screws here where you can just kind of like, you know, like mount it in place, and you can run it closed. Pretty sure later today I'll top the lid back on, you know, run that closed for a little bit. But yeah, intake, you can do it, you don't have to do it, but it's, in terms of sound, it's worth it on these cars. Moving over, we're going to need to take off this manifold cover here. I kind of want to move the car, guys. Like, there's not that much lighting here as I would like it to be, but fuck it. Hopefully this video is still good enough and you can see everything clearly. All right, so don't mind the blue fuel rail that you see there. That's for the new setup. We will talk about that in another video. You don't need that to hit 400 wheel horsepower. The way I did it, I basically ran a upgraded high pressure fuel pump. Now with this upgraded high pressure fuel pump, you know, this little metal thing right here that you see with the fuel hose attached to it, right? And with this upgraded high pressure fuel pump, you are basically upping the fueling that the car can receive. That way, for the added air that the turbocharger, larger turbocharger, will give you, you can match that and basically make more power, right? So there's different brands you can do. You have the HPA brand, which is the direct swap. You basically take off this entire metal, oh, that shit is hot. You basically take off this entire metal piece, you pop this hose off, and then you do it by taking off those 2 screws. You know, it's like a plug and play type of thing, right? Or alternatively, there's a second option. You can take off your OEM one, which is the one you see right here, and you can basically modify the internals in the pump to basically flow a lot better. So pros and cons to both, right? The internal mod is going to be cheaper, but it requires more labor. So if you're not too tech savvy, you might be better off just with a direct swap. I personally did the direct swap. I know a lot of people that bang on the HPA brand saying, oh, you know, they're faulty and stuff like that. I personally had zero, when I say zero, I mean like zero. I had no issues with the HPA direct swap. You'll know it's HPA because it'll have the sticker on the side right here planted, but I went back to the OEM one because this is the new setup. But yeah, you can run the HPA, guys. I ran it, I liked it, I didn't have any problems with it, and it's a lot easier to install and remove at a later time. Or you can just go with the autotech internals. The choice is yours. Shit, I accidentally hit the stop button on the camera. But yeah, the choice is yours, right? You can run whichever one you want. So we've covered the tires, the wheels, we've covered the stock exhaust, downpipe, turbo, turbo inlet stuff, an intake, and a high pressure fuel pump. Now this mod list right now would be sufficient in order to get what is called like a IS38 build on E30. I think those, they range around like 380-ish wheel horsepower roughly, you know, to the front tires. Now the goal here was to hit that 400 wheel horsepower, right? That's what we wanted to achieve here. That's what I was running on the car for just a little over a year. So the main thing we're missing now, the main thing we are missing is the low pressure fuel pump in the gas tank side over there in the back seat. So let me go ahead and show you that. Because I know you guys want to see it. Luckily enough for you, today I actually have my back seats out because we were finishing up some wiring here for the new turbo setup that we got going on. So it's gonna look a little ugly right now, but don't worry, we'll fix it up. We'll make it look nice and pretty, and we'll tuck away all these wires because I hate extra wires dangling all over the place. Anyways, in your GTI, you've got a low pressure fuel pump. This is basically where it's located. You take out the back seat, you pop this shit off, right? And then you unscrew like the cap on the top, and inside you'll have your fuel pump. Now you'll have your fuel pump like basket, as well as the actual pump itself that's mounted inside the basket. So basically what you'll need to do is upgrade that fuel pump that is mounted inside the basket. Put the basket back in. Again, this video is for those of you who, you know, are still pretty new to this stuff. So you'll need to upgrade that to something that flows a lot better. You can do, I mean, there's different options. You've got the Walbro 450, you've got the Walbro 525, and the 535. Golf R boys, you've got a fuel tank here, a fuel pump here, and then you've got a second one right there. So you got two, you got the dual pumps. GTI boys, you've got just a single right here, and it's kind of all you really need. For you running IS38 full 85, you can do like the Walbro 450 and you'll be fine. If you want to get extra fueling in case you plan to get like a bigger turbo later on, then you can run like the, you know, the 5 series turbos, like the 525, 535, etc., and you'll make pretty good gains with that too. So with those things there, you basically have all the supporting mods to make 500 wheel. I mean, sorry. To make 400 wheel, right? Only thing that I haven't mentioned yet before is going to be your tuning solution software. Most of you GTI guys already know this. You got the Cobb Accessport. It's one of the easiest, most effective ways to make power, or to basically tune the car and to be able to monitor everything. I really like it, to be honest, because you've got this live data when you're driving on the road, right? You know, you're driving, you know, you're shifting gears and stuff like that, and it's easy just to glance over and see how much boost pressure you made during that last pull, if there's any knock retard, stuff like that. So you'll basically need this to basically get the car tuned. Basically, this will tie everything in with all the mods that you did. That I know Cobb is very subjective right now for like a lot of people. It's like this big topic. There's like this giant software update. Just Google it and you'll figure it out. Yeah, it's probably not as popular right now, but I still think it's a great tuning solution for the GTIs. The GTIs didn't really get affected all that much compared to like the Subaru guys there. So no, but I mean, that's pretty much it, right? You don't need MPI, which is this like blue fluid rail right here with the extra injectors. You don't need that to hit 400 wheel horsepower. All you need is a Golf R size turbo, Catless downpipe, your turbo inlet piping to help with spooling and stuff like that. You don't need to swap the manifold or anything crazy. It is very much like an OEM plus build, guys. It is pretty easy to get to and it doesn't require too much. As long as you have some knowledge about cars and you do your research, you'll be able to get this and, you know, have fun with it. I would say non-OEM plus is when you start adding like an extra fuel rail, you know, tapped into this sucker right here. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention, and this is crucial. These coil packs right here, you know, it's a 4-cylinder car, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You don't need to swap these out. These are still my original OEM coil packs. You don't need to swap them out. What you do need to swap is what's underneath each one. You've got your spark plugs inside each one there. So the spark plugs, you need to run it one step colder to compensate for like stage 2 plus tunes and stuff like that. It really helps out the car perform a lot better. Clears up any misfire issues or knocking or hesitation. Definitely swap your spark plugs. You do not need to swap your coil packs. I've done the research. I've ran this again for over a year. Stock coil packs runs just fine. Unless they're all faulty and they start going out if you have like a higher mileage car. Upgraded plugs are a big big benefit for these cars. Those things that I mentioned just now are basically the key items you will need to creating good, effective, reliable power. You know, you can take out and have some fun the weekend, have fun in the night times. You can take it out to Mexico. You know, a lot of people like to go racing in Mexico, right? I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. If you have this array of mods here, it'll definitely help you out. And you'll have one quick GTI a lot quicker than stock. I keep looking at this little like wing extension right here, and man, it's so nice. I always forget that I have it on, but it's just like a nice little accent, and it connects with like this piece right here. And you got the Cobb sticker there. Again, I know it's not as cool anymore because the whole like Cobb green act thing. Other than that, that's pretty much it, guys. You're gonna run full 85 on this setup, and you can definitely put down 400 to the front tires there. So hopefully this video makes sense to you guys. I try to make it very simple, but yeah, stay tuned, guys. I know I've been kind of lagging a little bit on like the new turbo setup and explaining what's going on with that. I'm super excited to get to that, but I've just been kind of busy / had a few little setbacks here and there, but we're making some workarounds, and I will be giving you like a full-on breakdown of that once everything gets dialed in and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure to do so because you'll see this car in action. I am excited. This car has been nothing but fun. I love it. 6-speed for the win, guys. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. Also, I love this freaking paint job. It's so unique. I don't see white silver GTIs often, to be honest. I've been thinking about swapping these wheels, by the way. Let me know what you guys think. Should I swap them out? Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps out the channel grow. And yeah, like I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe for more stuff, more videos coming out. We'll have all that stuff coming out very, very soon. I will be making a video going over the new turbo, driving impressions, all that stuff there. So yeah, just stay tuned for that, guys. And hang on. And hope to see you on the next one. Peace.